We don't want to become ESPN.
All right. Well, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is in your time zone here. We are under a storm watch. There's been a delay of 30 minutes to our game here at Alumni Field in Wilmington, Ohio. As you can see from our broadcast picture, it's not pretty. A lot of thunder and lightning going on here. No rain actually in the stadium, at least at this point. So the game will be delayed by at least 30 minutes, and that would put the game starting obviously at about 7:30. We're going to do some bonus coverage here, I guess you could say. Typically on a Thursday night, we have a little thing that we do on WZAA 106.9, LPFM in Jeffersonville, Ohio, our radio station called Sports Planet with Bill Raybeck. Bill, conveniently, is here in booth with us tonight, and as well as Tony Mancuso. Tony and Bill will be doing the game if this game gets underway. Hopefully, this weather, as we see from weather radar, will move out of here sometime around 9 o'clock. That doesn't mean to say that the game will be delayed until 9 and then the game will get underway. We don't know. But, bottom line is we're going to stay on the air at least for the next 30 minutes. And in fact, we will go ahead and show you the game clock, which is ticking down now. So 15 minutes, 30 seconds through that first delay. Now, the way that it works with these delays is if they see or hear thunder and lightning, that starts the clock again. So right now, we've got some pretty heavy weather that has come in here into the Wilmington area. And so it's entirely possible that this game will not get underway even at 7:30. And we'll stay here as long as we have to stay here and as long as the game isn't officially canceled by Troy Deals, the athletic director here at Wilmington High School. Our broadcast crew, we've got a new angle tonight for tonight's broadcast, and we're going to show that to you here. The new angle is actually because of the rain. Our cameras are all located very close, if not in the press box. So what you're seeing, or what you will see here as it refreshes, is our inside view of the press box. And so you'll get a sort of a glimpse of our press box and our broadcast area as we broadcast tonight's contest. For all those people that are out there that are waiting for this game to get underway, once again, we are delayed at least for 30 minutes, meaning sometime in the neighborhood of 7:30. If this weather moves out or if for some reason we don't see the thunder and lightning, then we'll be able to resume the game and play the game. As I had said from weather radar, it indicates that this whole weather pattern should dissipate around 9 o'clock this evening. Whether they will wait that long before calling the contest, have no idea. But in the meantime, we're going to do our Sports Planet broadcast here with Tony and with Bill Raybeck, and they're going to talk all kinds of sports. And if you have anything that you might want to ask them, you can always text us at 937-527-6671 or 6674. 937-527-6674, and we'll try to answer your questions or if you have comments. Now, if you're on our YouTube channel, we actually have it set so that you can actually communicate with us on the YouTube channel, and actually, if you have questions, you can always ask them on the YouTube channel, and we will try to answer your questions. But we're going to talk, I guess, a little Ohio State football since the Buckeyes are playing tomorrow afternoon at, noon, 1 o'clock? 12 o'clock. They'll be hosting Nebraska, the Cornhuskers, and we'll see how that turns out. But for tonight, right now, we're in a weather delay. I'm going to go ahead and turn up the broadcast headphones of our announcers here and let them take it away with the broadcast. So we'll turn it over to Bill Raybeck and the Sports Planet.
Welcome, everybody. Bill Raybeck with the Sports Planet, Tony Mancuso, one of my normal guests on the show, and we're going to talk a little bit of Ohio State football. We are about at 12 minutes and 18 seconds into the lightning delay. Now, When they started the 30-minute clock, there was 18 minutes of warm-up left. So it looks like we're probably still 30 minutes from starting, but that's assuming we don't see any more lightning. Tony, I know you and I, being Ohio State fans, have been waiting for weeks now to see the Buckeyes take the field. And finally, tomorrow, we will see the Scarlet and Gray in Columbus at noon at the Shoe without anybody there. But we'll see the Buckeyes take the field. Any thoughts about the Nebraska game?
Well, Bill, thank you for the introduction, and it's great to be here again. We're doing high school football at Alumni Field in Wilmington.
Right.
Instead, we're in a rain delay or weather delay. It's not raining, as you said, just lightning.
Right.
Tomorrow, I got to be honest, I got mixed feelings. I really do, because, of course, I'm glad it's back.
Sure.
And, Ohio State 2020 should be a juggernaut. There's no question, especially with the schedule that we have, that there really should not be really any game that we're challenged. Even Penn State really would be about the only opponent that's going to be an interesting
And that'll be next
game.
week.
Yeah. So I'm mixed because I just feel like it's missing the culture and the soul of what Ohio State football is all about.
Right.
No band, no tailgating, no Carmen, Ohio, no nothing like that.
I got a breaking
go ahead.
news item here. Jeff Merklin, our other broadcaster that's normally in the booth with you, Tony, he says, tell the play-by-play guy to give the highlights of Ohio's mercy rule in football. And where was the inside camera when the best-looking dude was on air? I guess Jeff is referring to himself. And NJ says, go Wilmington.
Like
All
I
right.
say, we're retired. We're retired from the debate on the running clock.
Yes, I heard you had a problem with that.
Yeah, we did. But that's okay, because like any good legal scholar, you realize when you have a losing argument based on the jury's interpretation of what you're trying to sell them. So you just kind of say no mas.
You just
and
walk away.
You change the subject and you ask a question that has designed to distract them.
To deflect, right?
Back to Ohio State.
Right.
I'm glad they're playing, of course, but come on, no band, no Brutus, no cheerleaders, no Carmen, Ohio, no Script, Ohio.
Yeah. I heard.
What do you think of that? It just doesn't set right.
I heard Demetrius Stanley on 610 this afternoon, and he was talking about the fans, and he said that of course he feels bad for the players missing the games and not starting on time, but he said he really felt bad for the city of Columbus and the Ohio State nation because so much is missing from it without them being there. And, of course, the tailgates and the atmosphere. I mean, if you've not been to Columbus, you've not been there for the tailgates, you've not been there for a game, it's hard to imagine. I always tell my wife that. I said, you can't imagine the energy, and it's just a different atmosphere altogether.
And there's 110,000 people inside and probably double that in the parking lot.
Yeah, and a lot of people never even go in. They're just there to get their little TV set up with their generators. And
Right. That's why I'm being frank about it. I'm glad it's back,
Right.
but I'm not sure I'm going to love this product. What do you think? Do you feel the same way a little bit?
I'm just glad Ohio State football is back.
Yeah, I'm glad we're playing.
And I think,
But.
and I've heard, Tony, some of the analysts. Of course, Joe Colette, he's a little bit of a Ohio State homer, you would say, but
he likes us.
But he did say that he felt that this could play into the Big Ten's hand as far as playing for the national title better the way it's turning out. Because he said what's going to happen, and you really don't think about this, but a lot of times the teams go into that December lull where they have 2 or 3 weeks off before they play, right?
Yeah, which I didn't like that anyway.
Right. And what Klatt was saying is he felt that the teams could come rolling right off a schedule into the playoffs and not miss a beat. And he said this may help the Big Ten.
I think that's better.
Yeah.
I always thought that a lot of Ohio State's trouble in the bowl games throughout the years, especially in the old days, during the Woody days and during the Cooper days.
John Cooper,
it was definitely in his era, definitely in the Woody era. the month and a half off before you played
Yeah.
took away a lot of the momentum that the team had. And a lot of times on those New Year's Day bowl games that we would play,
Right.
we were flat.
Yeah.
And the players I've talked to that played for them had said that the delay's too long,
Right.
and that they just can't ratchet up the intensity while sitting back waiting for 6 weeks. So I do agree with that point, that going into it back to back to back from the Big Ten title game to the first round of the playoffs is great.
Yeah.
And, Michigan is what, December 12th?
Right.
So the Big Ten title would be a week later.
The 19th.
Yeah, and then the playoffs is a week later than after that. So I do kind of like that for that. I guess we'll know when we get to that stage if anybody's injured that needs rested and healed.
Right.
That's going to be a big factor in the whole thing. Are we banged up where a month off would help us?
Yeah.
So here we are saying it's a good thing, but I'm
But
not.
it could be a bad
It could
thing.
be a bad thing.
Well, I think looking at the Buckeyes' depth, I mean, when you looked at, you almost lost Sean Wade and Wyatt Davis, and Ohio State didn't even flinch.
Not really, nope.
And so, not to say that they're not great players, but Ohio State reloads. They had people that could step in and play for those guys. So I think the fact that Ohio State's depth is so good, I don't know. I mean, a injury doesn't hurt us. I think a
Nope.
couple injuries. Now, if Justin Fields goes down, now we're talking about a different story.
That'd be the big one.
Right. But yeah, I'm excited to see the Buckeyes. They've got some great freshmen coming in there. This freshman wide receiver, Julian Fleming, is supposed to be phenomenal.
Yeah, one of the number 1 or 2 recruit in the country.
Yeah.
Certainly at the receiver position,
Yep.
was considered maybe the best wide receiver in the class. But they have a great class around him coming in at the receiver position.
Right.
And they're the only position that I feel like perhaps is a sort of a question mark when you don't. And it's blasphemy to say that.
I know
as
I
an
know where
Ohio
you're going
State
with this.
fan is the running back
Yeah.
position.
And the guy, now pay attention to this name. You probably have heard it a couple times last year, but the guy that's really impressing people behind the scenes is a guy by the name of Steel Chambers. And they're saying this kid is a stud. He's 235 pounds. They said he's kind of like Eddie George. And if anybody's
That
like
wouldn't
Eddie,
be bad.
Yeah, if anybody's like Eddie George,
Anybody kind of like Eddie's good.
I think we'd be in pretty good shape if Eddie George would happen to come in. So, Steel Chambers, of course, we've got Trey Sermon, Oklahoma.
He helps.
Yeah, he helps. And Master Teague, this time off is let Master Teague mend, and he's actually going to be able to play where we didn't think we were going to see him this year.
I was worried until the Sermon transfer that we didn't have enough depth. J.K. Dobbins, in reality, was probably underrated as a running back. As
Right.
great as he was for that school in the 3 years that he gave them, I almost think that he flew under the radar.
Oh,
at
I agree with you.
times, and that he was the key to last year's team. How he went, the Buckeyes went, and of course they went well until the second half of the Clemson game.
And it was one play. I mean, one play makes the difference. Of course, we both know, being football fans, that one play, a receiver cuts the wrong way, the ball's thrown, it's either incomplete or intercepted. But when you only have less than a minute to go in the game, you can't afford to have those mistakes.
Well, that game had one play many times.
Yeah.
You think about all the one plays that we had.
Right.
I keep thinking back to the fact that we punted to them, on the 8-yard line, and they went 92 yards on their last drive to take the lead.
Yeah, that hurt.
Yeah, if you can't stop them when you're down and you're 92 yards to go,
Right.
that wasn't a very good thing. And then, of course, there was plenty of time on the clock, and they marched back the other way.
Right.
And you mentioned the Fields to Chris Olave interception, which
Right.
was a sour way to end the season. The Kuda Phantom return for a touchdown. That will go down in Ohio State history. We've had so many of those moments in our lifetime. It's just we need more. We need more than a lightning delay to about them all. Yeah,
Well,
we need like a hurricane,
A
real hurricane.
A real hurricane.
delay. But the point of that is that the Okuda play, had that went our way.
Well, that's a 14-point
Yeah,
swing,
the game
too.
was over if
Yeah.
that goes our way. The launching where Wade was thrown out. That game was over before
Right.
that play, and because we were ahead 16-0 when that moment happened.
And we hurt ourselves by
And
not scoring
dominated.
touchdowns
Right,
there,
right.
And we kicked field goals, and kind of reminiscent of the Jim Tressel era when, we would kick 5 or 6 field goals in the game, and
Right.
we'd win when we should win by 30, and we're winning 18-15.
But like a lot of us, I'm not going to denigrate the officiating and the calls, even though there were 2 major ones that
Right.
went against us. The
Right.
Okuda play and the launching play both went against our team and cut our momentum. But, hey, like I said, we had the lead and we kicked to them and they were on
Yeah.
their 8-yard line. And plus we had the ball back. So despite all that happening,
We had a chance.
we still had the game in our hand.
Yeah, we did.
And in control. And, I don't know about you, Bill. I thought we sputtered at the end of the year. I really did. I feel like
We weren't sharp.
We were not as sharp as we
Yeah.
were early. I feel like from the Rutgers game on that for some reason there was just some spark.
We played like we were bored.
Yeah, that was it. I think that's a great call. It was a bore. The team acted bored.
Yeah, because they just hadn't been really challenged.
No, and they weren't. And the Penn State game was a challenge, but they let them back in it.
Yeah.
Which was frightening at the time. And of course, the first half of the Wisconsin Big Ten championship game, we thought, oh my goodness, the whole season is down the toilet.
And our hats off to Wisconsin. Of course, that's the thing as the NFL has to deal with when you play somebody twice in a season.
Yeah.
It's always difficult to beat somebody 2 times. And so I think the Buckeyes were dealing a little bit with that, but they woke up and, of course, beat Wisconsin. Let me ask you this. Looking at the offense, we talk about Justin Fields and we talk about Master Teague and the wide receivers. A player that you're looking forward to seeing that's kind of off the radar, someone that you think just might emerge and be, a kid that's going to make a huge difference for the Buckeyes?
Boy, that's a tough question because who's off the radar on that team?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, if you're going to call anybody, a good one maybe to answer that would be Chris Olave.
Sure.
Is Chris Olave a first-round blue-chip #1 receiver in the NFL, Bill?
Right.
That's a question that I want to see unfold because he's been tremendous for
Right.
them. All the way back to the block punt against, Michigan as a
And he
freshman.
had the 2 touchdowns in that game, too.
Yeah, he was fantastic. Kind of a kid that kind of wasn't highly recruited, if I
he
recall.
was. They went out to recruit a quarterback,
Yeah.
actually, in California, and the coach said, hey, you might want to take a look at this kid. And he had been hurt. He transferred in from another school. So the reason the other teams didn't know about him is that he didn't play.
Yeah, Urban loved him as
Yes.
a gritty leader, or a hard-working player, and a kid that gave it his all and really came from nowhere. And is he a #1 NFL receiver and a first-round talent? I think Wilson for sure is, and everything you hear about Fleming, he is. And the Scott kid supposedly too is going to be in that level. I'm wondering whether Olave is a.
I'm gonna say no.
No, you
and
don't.
I'll explain in a
Yeah,
minute.
tell me why.
All right, but we do want to interrupt here just to let our fans know that are waiting for this game to get underway, or if it's going to get underway. There's another 30 minutes
Yeah, I saw the
delay
lightning.
on the clock. We're still seeing a lot of lightning in that. Now, not here in Clinton County, but in Madison County and Greene County. Those counties are under tornado watch as well. So we would suggest to everyone to make sure that besides maybe monitoring this game, that you monitor the weather. And if the weather turns bad here in Clinton County, you find shelter and get out of the way of any possible really bad weather. And we'll try not to get blown away here in the press box at Alumni Field. But
You see
Yeah,
a
I
cow
wonder how
flying, right?
secure this press box is.
We'll find out.
Can it withstand a tornado?
yeah, I think it's already been hurricane proof. But the problem is we don't get any hurricanes
Yeah,
here, Tony. So
Well, the Wilmington. Where did the hurricane nickname come from? Does anybody know? The Wilmington
I'm not
Hurricane.
really sure. I don't know where it was.
Because we don't get too many hurricanes in this area. Of
Well,
the
we got Bill
country.
Lehrman over there. He might have an
Yeah,
idea.
if anybody would know, Bill Lehrman would probably know
Well,
that.
we
Bill
got
would know.
the Wilmington Hurricane. I'll give you a side story to that. My high school, in before the 70s was called the Springfield Catholic Tornadoes.
Okay.
So we were one of the few teams in the country with the name Tornadoes.
Uh-huh.
But of course, it faded as it got closer and closer to the Xenia incident. And when the Xenia tornado hit in April of '74, it no longer became politically correct to call us the Tornadoes.
So now what is Springfield Catholic?
Think about it. What would Springfield Catholic, what would be the natural nickname?
The Friars?
You're close. You're
Padres.
close. I'll give you a hint.
Joe.
What about Notre Dame? What's their...
Oh,
Fighting
Fighting
Irish.
There you go. They're the
Yeah.
Fighting Irish.
Yeah.
Everything about their school mimics Notre Dame. The colors, the nickname, everything.
Well, yeah. Well, the political correctness crawls in there.
Yeah, so we were the Tornadoes, but you couldn't call us that anymore after the Xenia.
Well,
incident.
if we have a hurricane tonight, then we may find that we're going to be called the Wilmington. I don't know.
Did you hear that Washington is going to probably be called the football team again in 21?
That's what they said. Yeah, in 21 they said that they're just going to go with the same name. That they're
It's
not going to
so
make any.
silly.
Well, I don't think they're expecting much change in the COVID situation. And,
Yeah. Well, you
know,
think they'd have
stadiums-
marketing people working on this? They would.
Well, I'm sure they are, but they want to be able to launch this big branding event.
Yeah.
Well, why can't you
with
do that anyway?
Well, because there's no one in the stands other than cardboard cutouts.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's not
Well, that-
NFL football.
Now you're discriminating against the cardboard people now.
Well, I'll tell you a story about that cardboard thing.
Did you spend big bucks,
Yes,
Tony,
I
to have your cardboard?
Okay, I'll tell the
image?
audience. I'll
All
tell
right.
you guys
Here
in
we
the
go.
audience a story about the cardboards. At the first couple weeks of it, I'm watching. You know me, how much I live for the Reds and Bengals and sports. I'm watching that and I'm saying that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and I am not going to be a party to that. But then the more and more I watched it and I saw it, I thought, well, wait a minute. This is an opportunity that's too good to be true. We got to have some comedy out of it.
So how much did you pay for
Well,
your?
wait. I went back and I found the most geekiest, nerdiest,
Picture of you?
goofiest picture of myself, and I found one in the 3rd grade with glasses.
Oh, I thought you were going to say this was law school.
And I was a little bit better by then. and then one of my best friends that grew up with me as a Reds fan, he's like a model, looks like Fabio now, but as a kid he was a nerd geek beyond belief.
So you mean there is hope for
It's hard to
these
believe.
nerdy high school
Right.
kids?
That's what he was. It's hard to believe he's the same human being. So we found a picture of him, and him and I bought these cardboard guys, and you have not lived until you're watching a game and you see your cardboard image
On the game.
TV. Now, I saw my friend, his name's Dwayne. I saw him a bunch of times, but I never saw myself until somebody actually texted it to me and said, hey,
You're on television.
you're on TV.
Your third
So
grade pictures.
I had that game on DVR, and I'm rewinding it. I'm watching, and I can't find myself for some reason. I know. So what I did, listen to the science, what I did. I took the time of the text, and I backed it up, and I thought, well, this text has to match up to when he saw me.
Yeah.
So I fast forwarded the DVR to the moment of his text, and lo and behold, there I was on the third base line. A kid, what's the Robert kid, had hit a triple and was on third, and the TV
This
angle.
does not look good. The
Saw
concession stand is giving away free food.
Well,
They're-
listen.
they're worried.
Let me tell you about these cardboard things.
All
They
right.
actually give them back to you, and they showed up at my house this week, and they're a lot smaller than you'd picture in real life. I thought they'd be life size. All they are is just like 24 inches or
So
something.
they zoom in on these
They're
to make them
not
look
that
larger?
big. Now,
How much did you pay for this?
Oh.
do I have to tell you?
Yes, you must
yeah,
tell
we
us.
want to know this.
Well, how much would season tickets to the Reds be?
Oh no.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about today's Reds, probably $59.
Yeah. I donated to the Cincinnati Reds Community Fund, a good charity, $75 for mine and $75 for my friend.
Well, that's not bad.
Oh no, that's not bad. I
And
thought you were going
plus-
to tell me like $2,300.
Plus, I have
Yeah.
a lifetime thing hanging in my garage of me and my friend. Matter of fact,
Now, wait a minute. Why
I'll
would you
tell
have it in your garage? You got the man cave
well,
downstairs
because
still, don't you?
there's no room for that. I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
If
Go
anybody
put it
would
out in
ever-
your front yard,
No,
man.
seriously, if anybody would see Tony's man cave in his
I'm
basement,
going-
he has every imaginable memorabilia from Reds and Bengals history
I would agree.
in his man cave downstairs.
That doesn't mean that that's an alert.
It sounds really creepy for you to invite strangers to Tony's basement. So
right.
if you
I was
could
just-
not,
That's what I was just
Oh.
going
that-
to say.
Man, you just opened up a door. I
I'm just
I can't
saying.
say it.
Hey,
but-
look, I'm texting. I'm
don't
texting.
invite randoms
I'm
there.
texting you guys the images.
Tony's not a creepy guy. I'm gonna clarify
Here we-
that.
No,
But
I
don't
was-
invite strangers to
thinking of-
people's homes.
When you talked about creepy, I was thinking of somebody else. And I'm sure you know who I'm talking about.
Sounds really weird.
Yeah.
Here we are again. I'm texting these images to you guys. Now, I don't know if you can put them out over the
just
air.
yeah, you can put pull up the picture,
All right, hold on. I'll
and
do
I
it.
will.
She said that. I can't say it.
Oh, I've got it here on my phone. So I've got it on my phone. So we're going to go to the city. You bring up the camera.
Okay, I'll bring it up. I'll bring up the camera.
Now, let me see if I can find us in the actual stands, because I do have a photo of us in the stands. I just have to look.
Well,
But I'll tell you something. You have not lived until you're sitting in your living room and you see your cardboard image on the
well, I have to
TV
hold it here.
sitting and watching a baseball game, Bill. It's the funniest thing. I mean, it really does hit you that it's hilarious.
All right, we've seen enough of Tony. And now, Tony, which one is you? Because they both look pretty geeky.
Okay, look, here's where I have it in my rec room.
Did this
Rick?
gentleman get braces when he was young? Because he needed them.
I can tell you something. That dude is, honestly, he puts
Fabio.
Fabio to shame.
Uh-huh.
Fabio would, if it was down to him and Fabio for the cover of a romance
Well, Tony,
novel,
this
that guy there would get it.
this,
now, do you believe
this picture
that,
of you? This was third grade,
Yeah.
and you're in a suit. What
Right.
is that?
Well,
What are you, a third grade attorney?
I was pretending it was career day that day.
Oh, it
No,
was career day.
Seriously, look at that guy, and you tell me if you think that he's going to grow up to be a stud. And he was. I mean,
no.
seriously.
Is this
if-
his real picture?
Sydney, if you saw him, you'd be like, holy smoke, that's the same guy? Yes.
I
So,
don't know what he looks like now.
no, he's blonde and like a beach beautiful. And the point of it is that Rick is exactly right in what he said. Think about a guy that started out like that and like all of a sudden transformed into this male model type of guy.
Right.
And so your moral of that story is you are right. There is life after high school.
All right, Tony, I have girlfriends, and I was single in college at one point, and they were like, "I'm gonna set you up with someone," and I was always like, "No." They're like, "He's so cute." I'm like, "I don't trust you."
Well,
Okay.
isn't
there-
everybody's friend cute, though?
This is like when I was like, "I'm gonna set you up with someone, Tony," and you were like, "Okay, I'd love that," and then I tried to do that, and you were like, "No, she's too high maintenance."
Well, here's the thing about life.
Life.
I was in the third grade wearing a suit, Rick, and look where it led me. So
And
there
someone
must-
else is high maintenance.
there
You were
must-
wearing a suit in the third
There
grade.
must have been some precursor. There must have been some precursor to that on that day.
Yeah, one of the sisters threatened to beat you with a ruler.
Right. When because threatened. How about really?
These are raps on the
I got
on the
hit
knuckles.
more than Joe Frazier in that era. Trust me, I got hit constantly. I stepped on a girl. A girl accidentally dropped a lunch as we were racing for the teacher to try to carry her book bag,
Right.
and she accidentally dropped the lunch. And this was in the second grade, and I stepped on it accidentally because she was out ahead of me to get the teacher's book bag. So of course the teacher thought I did it on purpose because I lost the
So
race.
you were unjustly
So
accused.
I was in the second grade, was put in front of the class and bent over and smacked with a ruler.
So this was Tony's motivation to become an attorney.
and matter of fact,
Try to get back at the world.
Think about how times have changed. This was 68.
Oh yeah.
Think about it. Not only did I get smacked, but there was on the paddle, there was an engraved logo that said enemies list, and there's like 9 or 10 people that signed it, and here I am in the second grade. In the second grade,
Was your name on the pad?
Anthony Mancuso as a second grader underneath the teacher's enemy list paddle. That's the honest to God's truth. Now, I'll tell you something that's a bucket list thing for me in my life.
Yeah.
I will have lived a full life, and I mean, I'm telling you, anybody out there in radio land, if you ever at a flea market and you come across, or an estate sale, something, you come across the paddle that's got enemies list, and there's like 9 or 10 signatures.
How much will you pay for
Oh,
it?
I'll pay to have that
I
thing.
hope more than $75.
To have that thing in my house right now, the enemies list as a second grader would be a fulfillment of that day forward. And you are right. That was motivation to become a fighter for the people.
A public defendant.
And the
Public defendant.
No, somebody who fought for the downtrodden. No nun or no teacher.
Now, wait a minute, Tony. I
Wait
thought you
a
were a
minute.
divorce attorney.
No, I don't do it.
You're not a divorce attorney?
No, I mean I could have been with all my experience, but here it is more so. That the fact that a priest and nun or teacher beat me up in the second grade, that motivated me for 50 years since to take down the establishment. And sure enough, I think we've done okay in that.
Well, the rain is falling mainly on the plain now.
We're gonna get back to sports here in a minute.
Yeah,
I don't know. This is a lot more
we got
entertaining.
diverted a little bit.
Yeah, we did.
This is like the morning show on Tuesdays
Right,
on
that was-
WZAA.
But we were talking about cardboard fans, and look what we ended up.
Yeah.
Moral of the story is they're a lot smaller than you think.
Yes.
They're not that big.
You mean the cardboard?
Yeah, the cardboard
Right,
thing.
okay.
Because I got them when they showed up at my house, and I pulled them out of the box.
You were
I'm
probably
thinking-
shocked.
I was. I'm thinking, that's this little puny thing.
Well,
like
I mean,
this?
they had to make them small because, first of all, if they're charging you $75, most of it has got to be, profit, and because they probably paid $20, to have them printed and everything.
Oh, I doubt there was $20. That
think?
looks like a $5.
Now,
type
was
of
this
thing.
actually printed, or was this like a vinyl print, or do you know? Do you know what the consistency of these cardboard cutouts? Maybe I'll
Hey,
get a side
Rick,
business
listen,
going here.
it's a cardboard cutout thing.
So it's actually cardboard.
Whatever kind of No, it's got that perforated stuff inside.
Oh,
of it.
yeah, okay.
What's that called?
Is it like plastic?
Perforation.
Okay, so yeah.
Perforation.
Let me tell you what it is. It looks like a cardboard cutout
Corrugated.
to me. There you go.
Corrugated. There you go, Bill.
There you go.
We know we brought Bill in tonight for some reason.
All I know, it's on my garage, and I tried real hard not to put a nail on my forehead, which I was able to do. And they're all hanging up there.
Tony's going, oh,
Me
man.
and my good buddy Dwayne Purcell, who now lives in Atlanta and is like a big construction conglomerate dude down there, owns half of Atlanta. So
you
he's-
both have led successful lives.
Well, I'll give him a A plus and me like more of an A minus. Even though in school I was smarter than him.
Oh, okay. Well,
He won't admit that, but it
but
was
you're
true.
saying in reality now, in grown up life, he's prettier than you.
Much. Much so. Prettier wife, all that stuff. Prettier car, prettier everything.
No, wait a minute. Aren't you the one with the 3-4 car garage out past
Yeah,
Gahanna?
got 4 garages.
What
and
is the
one
area
car.
that you live in, Tony? We won't give you your address or anything, but you live in a
Jefferson Township.
that is a fairly affluent area of Columbus.
He's got a big basement.
And yes, he does have a big basement, but he also has a fairly large house. He's got besides his man cave downstairs, he's got. We did some parties there,
Yeah,
Bengals and
we did.
Steelers and all that.
I
and
owe
you have
one.
that huge pull down or roll down
Yep.
screen that comes out of the ceiling or whatever. And you've got a jacuzzi in the back and a koi pond and all that kind of stuff.
Can we get back to sports, Bill?
Yeah, let's do it. So you
My
want
goodness.
you want the answer on Chris Olave?
Hey, wait a minute. Here's McCune Realtors. Does she go all the way to?
Let's go through all
Yeah,
our
let's talk
sponsors.
about some of these. Sam's Meats, Colette Farms, John Roberts Excavating, Shelley McCune Realtor, McCune Painting and Renovation LLC, Edinger Farms, Brown Funeral Home, Kingdom Exteriors. Bill, you want to tell us a little bit more about Sam's Meats?
Sam's Meats. Yes, Sam's has some delicious meat over there. Uh, Football fans, stop by Sam's Meats, located in Wilmington, Ohio, at 1209 West Locust Street, to support a locally owned and operated business. Sam's Meat has fresh chicken, pork, beef, along with deli cheese and lunch meats. Their meat deals are a great way to buy meat in bulk, helping to save you both time and money. The dining room is open for you to enjoy homemade hot bar meals and their made to go order grill menu. Sam's Meats also offer catering, party trays, and a variety of homemade desserts. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. and 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday. Go check them out.
Colette Farms Pioneer Seed is a family owned and operated seed dealership offering Pioneer brand products, seed treatments, and trusted agronomic advice for over 45 years. With the use of local data, technology, and digital tools, Colette Farms helps farmers maximize every acre's potential. Count on us to be there throughout the season working directly with you. Colette Farms Pioneer Seed, farmers just like you.
You know, Tony, if you need some excavating done, John Robert Excavating is the place for you. It's located in Wilmington. His family-owned business since 1998. They specialize and are experienced in general excavation, sewer, storm, grading, field tile, drainage, land clearing, ponds, demolition, and paving. Look us up on Facebook or call 937-382-1788 for a free estimate. That is John Roberts Excavating.
All right, Bill, give me your Chris Olave speech.
Okay, so Chris Olave. I've watched a lot of film in this COVID era of the Buckeyes last year, and as I've watched Chris Olave, I've had the same kind of reservations that you may be having about him. And what it is he does not catch the ball really clean all the time. He likes to use the cradle catch. Now, that being said, he can go up sometimes and he gets both hands on the football, but what receiver is he really? And when he gets to the NFL, you can't cradle the ball in.
No.
So that's my only question about him. I mean, speed, jumping ability, all that stuff, I think he's fine.
Do you know his 40 time?
I don't know his 40 time. So, I think what we have to look at is when you get to the combine and they're going to analyze his hands and how consistent he is, I think that's where Chris Olave is the guy that is a question mark. Now, the one that I'm intrigued to see, who I think is going to be an All-American, is Nicholas Petit-Farrar, the five-star tackle out of Tampa. And in some of his spring games, Tony, I mean, he crushes people. His biggest problem is he came in too light, and they've been trying to put like 25, 30 pounds on him. And he was the Buckeyes, Ryan Day, just announced that he is going to be the starting right tackle now.
Great.
So I say watch this kid. I think he'll eventually play 1 year on the right side, and I think you're going to see him on the left before he graduates. So
The problem with our team, the schedule's not going to be challenging at all.
right.
You're going to be three-digit. He had now.
Now this is your buddy Jeff.
Go ahead,
again.
read it.
It says sad about Mancuso Estate. Nobody ever there except kids and guys there for fantasy draft.
Jeez almighty.
and what else does he say?
Olave's fake, just a mirage. So he agrees with you, Bill. That's Jeff Merklin, our state champion high school quarterback, college quarterback, and normal
So he's got some
color
cred.
man.
Is that what you're saying?
Well, he's our normal color guy here on campusnation.com.
Do we
and
have a normal anything
One-
here on
yeah,
our
one-
broadcast?
right.
I didn't know anything
if you
was
can
normal
tell,
around this
right,
place.
if you can tell by this rain delay, there's not much normalcy going on, but it's fun. But
Gotten a lot of views tonight.
Yeah.
here's the thing back about Ohio State, and this is why one of the reasons I just, like I said, your first question, no fans, no band, no Brutus, no cheerleaders, no tailgating, and a schedule that's just not going to be challenging.
Well, after the first two games, I mean,
where you have basically 5 byes in a row.
right.
What is it? Rutgers and Maryland and Illinois and Indiana and Michigan State. Those
Yep.
games are
The big
not,
teams. The big teams.
Those
right?
games are not
The
gonna
legends.
Be, They're not going to be challenging games.
Right.
And even Michigan is going to be down this year. So
Well, Michigan could lose this tomorrow.
Right,
They play
exactly.
Minnesota.
Right,
and
at
Minnesota's going to be
Minnesota.
rowing the boat right at them there. So
and you're just in a situation where it is Ohio State football. It's scarlet and gray. It's what we love and what we've lived for 50 plus years, except for Sydney, who's only lived it for a year or two.
only
Well, if you subtract 27, let's see, what year was Sydney? Would have Sydney been
93
born?
is when she was
93. My goodness, 93 was the year that Ohio State was favored to win a national title.
They
and
were?
They
But
lost late in the year to Michigan,
They said-
tied Wisconsin.
it was an ugly game.
Yeah.
So you're saying that Sydney's birth year was a bad year for Ohio State?
Well, it was a year that a lot of people thought we were going to win the title.
I did.
We actually lost to Michigan up there, which was a huge loss.
But now tell
Tim-
me, you've
Tim-
got a daughter. You're spending all kinds of money. You have a daughter at Michigan.
She's there, and yep.
Well, your
that's the
daughter is
thing.
not at Ohio State.
Well, she's a commuter.
online, right?
Commuter.
Yeah.
I got good point. Not really even a commuter per se, because there's nowhere to commute to.
Right.
No, they do have 1 or 2 classes that meet live, but
At Michigan?
at Ohio State,
Well,
not
no,
at Michigan.
even at Michigan, they're all online, even though they're there
are
in the
they?
dorms. and
Well,
everything.
guess what? I got the call from her. She was, of course, she checks in with me almost daily, and her call was that the county put the University of Michigan students on a lockdown. Yes, they did.
Oh, wow.
And why? 2 reasons.
Too much partying?
Number 1 was they were worried that the rules have not been followed by the University of Michigan kids. And number 2 is they wanted to do it to cover the home Michigan State football game, because there was a worry that night would be a super spreader event, which is another one of these buzz terms that's come into play and is in vogue. So they shut it down.
But that fits perfectly.
They shut
Well,
it
I'm not
down.
gonna,
Yeah, let's not go there, Bill.
You have a stay at home. You have a stay at home. Imagine that. Okay, here we are starting Ohio State football tomorrow. Now imagine us getting a stay at home order for Ohio State football. Think about it. It's already bad, but to be told no, you can't even go anywhere, that's what's going on in
well,
Ann
somebody
Arbor.
would. Somebody really would arrest DeWine if that happened.
That's going on in Ann
This
Arbor.
would be very tough as far as for college students, because they've already. Let's face it. Whether you're in high school or you're in college, young people have suffered tremendously
Yeah,
through
they
all
have.
this.
Yes,
They've
have.
taken.
Yes, they
If
have.
not, they've probably taken the brunt of the COVID experience.
yes,
so to
they
speak.
have.
And so from the standpoint of depression and anxiety and all
Awful,
that,
awful.
it's a terrible, terrible thing.
And let me give a shout out to 5 young athletes who have had a terrible fall on the East Clinton cross country team.
Tell us.
The girls team there last weekend won the first cross country championship in school history. And they had half their meets canceled this year because of COVID.
Awful.
And the girls went out and they got together and they kicked butt. And tomorrow they run at districts down at VOA.
Right.
And they have a chance to get out to
Now, when you say VOA, is that Voice of America Park?
Voice of America Park down in Westchester.
In Westchester, right?
And they have a chance to get out to the regionals as a team. And
Well, we definitely wish the East Clinton girls good luck.
a great team. I've coached these kids since they were most
Nope,
of them.
no.
Since,
Are you going to pull a Joe Davis on us again?
I'm just saying.
What's that? What's
since
a
they're
Joe
seventh
Davis?
graders, though.
Joe Davis, one of our broadcasters, if anybody does anything that's admirable, Joe has taught them in some way, has ingrained in them.
Well, listen.
If they're great at football, it's because he had them in track.
Joe
Hey, the
had
great
'em.
thing about cross country is you say go that way and run 7 miles. So I mean, it's a lot of determination.
And come back, or do you just stay where you got to? Do you turn around?
Yeah,
and
they go
come
get a
back?
bus and they come back. No,
That's
they-
good coaching, Bill.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
They did a great job this year, and I hope tomorrow that they can follow that up with a berth,
showing
a
there.
berth in regionals. Yeah.
Well, I'll
Is
tell
it
you,
the
Rick.
top four?
Rick, you'll like
four.
you'll
Yeah,
like this
top four.
story. Of course, we know about our Flyers, which we'll never stop talking about the 2019.
Well, and you better tell people
20
because that's where you went to
Flyers.
law school. UD law school.
I did not. Undergrad to
Oh,
University.
so where'd you go to
of
the
Dayton.
law school?
Ohio State.
So you did with Jeff?
Yes,
didn't Jeff go
that's
to Ohio
where I
State
met-
as well?
That's where I met him.
Oh, okay. I thought you
And-
both met at UD.
No, he did not go to Dayton. He went to Ohio State.
So what's your undergrad degree in?
Something I know nothing about.
Agriculture?
honestly. No, not quite.
I thought you went to Cincinnati.
No. Okay. So far, I'll take, if you guys are handing me degrees, I'll take them. But the only 2 degrees that I have are from the University of Dayton, a BA, not BS, by the way, BA,
Bachelor of Arts. Well,
and
UD is not a science
a
college.
JD at the Ohio State University.
Oh, well,
How many-
That's much more impressive than.
How many kids were in your class? Your graduate of the law class.
200-ish, yeah. around
So
that.
did you? So if there was 200, did you finish 198 or
Yeah, I'll
196?
tell you that. He's making a joke, but I'll tell you the truth.
There's more truth in that.
There is.
I'll tell you the
There is a
truth.
story behind that, by the way.
Here's the story. Here is the story. We have rankings, and they didn't want to make you feel bad, so they would have top 10%, top 20%. All the stars were
yeah.
top 10%.
Most likely to proceed.
Okay. You know what my rank?
proceed, yeah.
You know what my ranking in the 1986 class of the Ohio State University College of Law was? I was ranked in the top 90%. How about that? How about that? Now, see, it was a polite way of saying you stink.
How about
And-
that, Tony?
I was in the bottom 10%. Why didn't they just say you're ranked in the bottom 10% instead of my ranking?
They didn't want to hurt your
Right,
feelings.
my
though.
official ranking was top 90%. So thank you, Ohio State University.
Here's
College of Law.
here's some interesting tidbit thrown our way by Jeff.
Go ahead.
He says Connecticut canceled high school football, so people got together and formed teams on their own, and they are playing football in Connecticut.
Well, let me tell you about Dayton. Hold on, because this is segue.
Are we talking UD basketball
Yeah,
now?
UD basketball.
We're back to UD basketball. here.
20.
Well, guys, we should be. I didn't mean to interrupt, but we may be getting the teams back
Yeah,
on here.
20 wins in a row, 29-2 season. Only 2 losses were both in overtime. One at the buzzer to Colorado in a neutral court, and the other in Hawaii against Kansas in overtime, who Kansas was kind of crowned the mythical national champ. We were going to be a number 1 seed. We had the player of the year, won every single award imaginable. Obi Toppin, he put on a dunk show every game. It was magnificent to watch. But Rick, here I was at UD Arena the last weekend in February, so it's like 2 weeks before COVID, and it was Dayton against who do we play? Davidson that night. And there was Mike DeWine in the arena cheering and posing for pictures.
Do you have a mask on?
Well, wait. No, this
was pre-COVID.
Oh, it's pre-COVID. That's
So whenever this started, and
He had the seat with all the telephone books, so he could sit up
Yeah.
there and see.
he was cheering, and he was the number 1 UD Flyer fan in the state. And even though he didn't go there, but I'm thinking, okay, now that this COVID hit, I saw this guy at the University of Dayton Arena cheering for the Flyers. There's no way he's going to do anything to let our team not compete for the national title. He's going to be in there fighting, so I felt good. Well, of course, as you know, all that blew up,
Right.
and the fact that he was there at UD Arena cheering on the Flyers didn't help us one bit.
Yes.
Didn't
Didn't
help us.
influence a thing,
Not
did it,
even
Tony?
a thing.
Well, we Sydney and I covered, along with Riding the Wave with Dave, WLW fame.
I know. I've heard of
In
him
August
before.
of last year, we were doing the Trump rally in Cincinnati.
Okay.
And Mike DeWine was there. We got to rub elbows with Mike. I didn't realize that Mike was as diminutive
He's
as,
a
as
little
he is.
guy.
He's a little guy.
Yeah.
And so that was my reference with the telephone books.
Now, isn't that speaking of rallies? Isn't there the Trump train this week?
Yes. You ever been stuck in one of those? Boy, I was. The one that was in Columbus, I was stuck on 270, and it was just, it was a sight to see.
It was like a wave, right?
Every single truck.
He was riding the wave.
Yeah, he was riding the wave.
riding-
Dave wasn't there, but he was riding.
Yeah.
I'd never seen anything in all my life like that.
Now, when you brought up the
all
Flyers,
the trucks pulled.
though, Tony, I thought you were going to talk about the Philadelphia Flyers,
No,
and I was
not
like,
them.
oh,
all the
oh,
trucks
no.
with the Trump logos and people cheering, and there were some people of color who were flipping the middle finger to them, and there were people on the bridges, and it was the most amazing thing. Now, what was funny is there was a reason there was a traffic jam. We're sitting there behind everybody, waiting, and I finally got up to what it was, and there was a wreck between two Trump supporters. One truck hit another one. It was kind of comical to think that the whole parade is shut down because there's an accident between two of them. But yeah, that's tomorrow again.
It is.
Right? It is an amazing thing.
It's or is it tomorrow or
It's
Sunday?
Sunday.
Have you ever
Sunday.
seen that?
Try to compete with Ohio State football.
No, wait.
No, they wouldn't.
No, it's on Sunday.
Yeah, but they are competing with Bengals Browns, which tells you a lot about that. Who cares?
You know,
They don't care about that.
we're really going to miss
Well,
that.
does anybody care about the NFL right now?
There's not going to be much of an audience for that, so they're thinking that's a perfect day for the.
Yeah.
Just
Both the first two games of the World Series have gotten
awful rating.
Well, if you would like to see or hear about political rants, you can hear that on the Razor's Edge of our sister station WZAA 106.9 LPFM on Sunday.
Sunday at 6.
It's a good segue to Shelley McCune, realtor.
That's right.
Caldwell Banker shines like no other. Only one real estate company has guided people home for over 114 years. That's the most amazing thing I've ever read. Call Shelley McCune with Caldwell Banker West Shell, your neighbor, your friend, your hometown realtor, bringing you exceptional service, honesty, and integrity throughout the entire home buying, selling process. Shelley McCune, realtor.
And then we've got McCune Painting and Renovation LLC. McCune Painting and Renovation LLC, located in Wilmington, Ohio. Your trusted contractor with over 25 years of experience, offering interior and exterior custom painting and home renovations. Call Nevin today at 937-728-5585 for a free quote.
I always am amazed at 114 years in business. I think that's incredible.
That is.
You think back to that, Teddy Roosevelt was the president
Yeah.
when that started.
Yeah.
Think about it. Teddy. And here we've come 114 years later, and they're still kicking. I love it. Love
So
it.
Tony, let's jump into the Browns and Bengals here for a second. Is Joe Mixon playing?
No, he's officially out.
He's out. I thought I heard that.
So is Austin Hooper of the Browns.
Yeah. Although I think the Browns' young tight end is starting to get a lot more reps there. So I don't know how much Hooper will hurt him. I mean, experience will, but the Harrison Bryant kid is he's played well for the Browns.
I like that pick.
Yeah.
I was lurking for him too in those rounds, and
Yeah.
of course Cleveland got him first.
And Tony, speaking of picks, we talked about that Evan Weaver from California, the kid that had over 400 tackles.
Yeah, where'd he at? What
He's a linebacker for the Arizona Cardinals now.
is he playing?
Yes.
Wow.
And then the Darren Tuslaw kid that came from North Dakota State, he's a defensive end for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I knew he was there. He made the team and is on the roster.
Yep.
Is he getting any stats?
I don't know yet. I didn't.
That was your guy. You
yeah.
loved him.
Oh, yeah, I loved him. But it was interesting. We talked a lot about those kids, and they've been productive. They're getting, they're on an NFL squad. So,
I just want to let you guys know, and our audience out there know that you only have to put up with these guys till 9 o'clock. And I just talked with Troy Deals, the athletic director here in Wilmington. Batavia has said that they're willing to wait till 9 if they can still get this game in. Now, 9 o'clock from Weather Radar indicated that that's when this was supposed to move out. So, what we'll tell our listeners and viewers that if you want to hang in there, obviously for some of you, you may fall asleep and maybe past your bedtime, whatever. But we will be here as long as there is any potential of a game tonight, and we'll bring you that game in total right here on Campus Nation. I'm going to turn this back over to the two wacky guys with Sports Planet.
We got all kinds of stories.
we do have all sorts of stories.
You want to hear some more about getting beat up by nuns? I got plenty of those. We could be here another 2 hours talking about that.
Yeah. Tony, I think the NFL is interesting from the standpoint that some of the teams that people expected to be decent aren't. I mean, there is some intrigue if people are following it. By the way, and we called this weeks ago, the NFC East is
horrible.
Absolutely horrible.
A team with a losing record is going to win that division.
Yeah. There's not good football going on
No,
there
it's
right
horrible.
now. And then that puts the Giants and the Jets in position most likely to have the number one pick. And, of course, Trevor Lawrence. Now, I'm going to put you in the Jets GM hat for a second. What do you do with that? You get the number one pick. You've got Sam Darnold. Are you going to give up on Sam and move on to Trevor Lawrence?
Boy,
or do you draft to keep them both?
Boy, is it no? You don't keep them both. That's what you can't do that. But boy, oh boy, what do they call that? Occam's razor. What do they call them things when you can't choose between Sophie's choice? You've got Sam Darnold, who was in the 2000. It was 3 years ago.
Well,
right?
he's in with the class with
Mayfield and Josh
Jackson,
Allen and Jackson
yeah.
and that group. Josh Rosen, who didn't make it.
Right.
And you drafted him, the third pick in the draft, so
Yep.
you've got a lot of capital invested in him, and he's been surrounded by no talent at all.
I agree.
His team and the coaching of that group has been really horrible.
Right.
And I thought Sam was a big-time prospect.
I agree with you.
And he has not lived up to that. And is that his fault, or is that the fault of the way the
Is
organization
it the scenery
is
that
run?
yeah, I agree.
So you've got a situation where they've got a tough decision to make if they get the number one pick, and Sam will be coming up on that fifth-year option here soon.
Right.
So do you pull the trigger on Lawrence, or do you trade it for capital to improve the team around Darnold, which perhaps if Darnold had a better supporting cast,
He would be
maybe
better.
he'd be better. And the Giants have the same problem with Daniel Jones. And I hate to admit this, I think we down at Paul Brown Stadium have the same dilemma coming, because we could possibly be up there near that number one pick. We're not going to take Trevor Lawrence,
No.
that's for sure. But boy, oh boy, if we could hold that pick hostage for some big-time
Sure.
draft capital, it's very intriguing. Now, what will the Jets do? I would say, to me, the Jets would opt for Lawrence. If it's the Giants, I'd say they will trade it. They'll keep Daniel Jones.
You think? See, I think Daniel Jones is. I just had this
What do
conversation
you?
the other
You
day.
think the opposite?
I think Daniel Jones is. I think he's a mediocre quarterback. I don't think he's going to be a great quarterback. I think, of course, then again, Eli Manning. Of the Mannings, I mean, Eli was all right. I mean, he won 2 Super Bowls, but it was his supporting cast and a great defense is why he won 2 Super Bowls. So I would say that I don't see – I think the Giants would take a run on him. I think the Jets might too, but let me throw this at you. Now, years ago, the San Diego Chargers had Phillip Rivers and Drew Brees.
For a minute, they did, yeah.
So you could see the Jets take Trevor Lawrence and have Darnold and then let people make bids for what they want.
Atlanta did it with Brett Favre when you think about it.
Right.
So
It's not uncommon.
it's not that terribly unusual. Rick, you want to just chime in?
Well, Jeff was sending us some information. UK basketball to host 2021 recruit Braden Sipple.
Wow.
That's our guy from Blanchester.
Yes.
And that's
Wow.
pretty impressive. And he, of course, he also that it's obviously basketball that is
Right.
his primary sport, but
Right.
he's not too bad at football either.
I loved him as a quarterback.
Yeah.
You ever seen him play basketball?
No, I know I have not. Yeah.
Yeah. That needs to be a trip to see Blanchester and Braden play basketball for them. He was telling us he was very humble and very nice kid, my goodness. But people in the stands were telling us he averaged 33 a game for Blanchester in basketball. And at first, Sydney was there. When I heard that, I go, oh, come on, that can't be true. But it was true.
Yeah,
we looked it up.
He's a powerhouse.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I loved him as a quarterback, and people were saying that basketball is his first love, and good for him. If he's being recruited by UK, then he must be a
Can't
player.
be too shabby, huh?
Yeah.
No, it don't get no better than that.
That's true.
And I will say this: I have not seen his name on any football list. So I would say basketball is the way he wants to go if UK is after him.
So back to that quandary about who to draft.
Right.
I think my prediction is the Jets pull the trigger on Trevor, but the Giants don't. You think it might be the opposite?
Yeah, if they see Trevor Lawrence as the big-time prospect, if they see him as the John Elway, I think either of them actually could pull the trigger because they'll say, okay, this is
Once in a lifetime thing.
yeah, he's like Andrew Luck. He's a generational type of talent.
He is.
And so do you make that move? Now, I think Sam Darnold, that could be his lucky move because Darnold could get released and get into a situation where he can be successful. 'Cause
I think Sam, for a good team, would be a decent quarterback. And I think Jones could, too. I think he's got talent.
yeah, the grit that
They don't have players around him, Bill. Both of those franchises
no, they
are
don't.
horrible.
But the grit that I saw in Darnold at USC,
I liked it.
I mean, that Rose Bowl game with Penn State, I mean, he was a player. He made plays happen. He kept plays alive. So, boy, I hope for his sake that he would get that opportunity to get out of New York because, right now that's just a toxic place to be.
Yes, it was.
So last week, I guess Jeff's saying Sipple against Madison Plains was 17 for 37 for 235 yards and 4 TDs.
Yeah, great.
He's not too hateful at
No,
football either.
I thought he was a tremendous quarterback, and like you said, when you've got the it factor, you've got it, and he's got it. There's no doubt about that.
Well, I think again, I have not seen him play, so I can't say.
Throws a beautiful ball, big tall kid in the pocket. Yeah, his balls were so pure.
But what I was going to say about that is, if he is even a 2-star prospect or 3-star prospect, you've got to evaluate, do you want to go to a lesser program in football where you're going to take a lot more wear and tear on you?
Where are you going to go if other than UK and play any better in basketball?
Well,
that's it.
Well, I know,
If they're recruiting him and he's on their radar and they're serious and they're going to offer, offer him a spot.
Yeah, unless you were going to play for Ohio State in football or something like that.
Yeah,
Right,
but he's
that's what
not that. That was Bill's point. He's
Yeah.
not that level recruit in football.
Probably more a D2 prospect, you think?
Or maybe somebody like Cincinnati, one of the AA teams.
Every kid's different, though. You don't. But in his, he was very polite about it.
Yeah.
And I think people were in the Blanchester community were telling us that basketball
Was the way
is
he
his
wanted to go.
future and his true love. So wish him well. If you can end up at UK playing the sport of basketball, that's a
Can't get any better than that.
pretty darn good
Yeah.
thing. Amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Let's talk about Edinger Farms. Family owned and operated, Edinger Farms focuses on providing its customers with the highest quality hay and straw. The experts on their team can provide you with the perfect product for any operation and offer both delivery and unloading services. Edinger Farms also sells both farm fresh beef and pork to fill your freezer. Find them on Facebook or visit their website at edingerfarms.com. That's EDINGERFARMS.com.
Okay. Brown Funeral Home in Wilmington is proud to support the student athletes of Clinton and surrounding counties. The hard work, dedication, and passion shown by these athletes are the same principles we adhere to at our funeral home. The team of Kevin Brown and Billy Earhart are always here to assist your family in your time of need. From pre-planning to at need, we offer a wide range of services that are economically friendly to all. To contact us, please call 937-382-2247. You can also find us online at earhartbrown.com or on Facebook at Brown's Funeral Home. Brown's Funeral Home. Celebrate lives committed to the community.
And Kingdom Exteriors is at that time of year, and the projects you've been putting off still need to be finished. Is a new roof one of those projects? One simple call could get that out of the way. Kingdom Exterior specializes in residential and commercial roofing, sidings, and decks. Winter is coming, so trust their 30-plus years of experience serving the Wilmington, Lebanon, Greater Dayton, and Cincinnati areas. Call Kelly at Kingdom Exteriors. The number is 513-696-9593. That's Kelly at Kingdom Exteriors, 513-696-9593. One of our many fine sponsors of CampusNation.com. You can find us on the YouTube channel of Campus Nation, 106.9 WZAA in Jeffersonville, the sister station on the radio and on the online. It's a wonderful outfit, and here we are at Alumni Field in Wilmington, Ohio, Wilmington High School. Our clock is saying 11:30 something to go and winding down. I think this is our third or fourth cycle of delay that we've had. Now, what's interesting, Bill, it looks nice now, right?
Yeah, I have not seen any flashes,
no,
Tony.
It's getting nice now.
And I think that we could see them play football. I see some people getting out of cars and things.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to play.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but it looks like it's leveled out to the extent that we're probably going to get on the field and on the air. But in the meantime, we're entertaining people with the Sports Planet.
Yep.
Aptly hosted by Bill Rayback, who does a wonderful job on 106.9 WZAA. So I know, Bill, you're itching to talk about, even though we were saying that we're not sure how many people are really invested in it, but I guess we got to talk about the Browns and Bengals Sunday.
I'll give you guys a little Ohio State tip on you guys. I heard you talking about a dark horse,
Yeah.
Jameson Williams.
All right,
Jameson,
so
yeah,
that's
wide
right.
receiver.
That's right.
Great week of practice.
Here's what's in.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I forgot, but I did see on the Bucknuts.
They said he's as fast as they've had anybody since Terry Glenn. Back in
It was pretty fast. Yeah, yeah. So Jameson Williams.
Yeah, I don't know if that got over the air, but let's repeat it. A gentleman from Wilmington. What's your name, sir? Scott Patton? John Patton from Wilmington. He's running the clock here at Alumni Field.
I've been with the Buckeyes since Hopalong Catholic.
Yeah, he's been a fan since Hopalong, which predates even as old as I am. That's way before my
Takes
time.
us back a few years. I know it.
My first recollection is Rex Kern, and if John's was Hopalong Cassidy, my goodness. Yeah,
Yeah.
but he says this.
Yep.
He says the dark horse sleeper for the 2020 Ohio State Buckeyes is wide receiver Jameson Williams. He compares him to the speed of the late Terry Glenn, who was a fantastic receiver
Absolutely.
for Ohio State. So that's a dark horse name we've heard thrown around some, and John Patton brings it in.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, the thing is, Terry Glenn, unless people watch film with Terry Glenn, they don't realize how fast Terry Glenn was.
He was so good.
Again,
a recruit that was under the radar. He
Yeah.
was not highly thought
no,
of.
he was from a Columbus
What
City
was it,
school.
Brookhaven he went to?
Brookhaven, yeah.
He wasn't highly thought of, and he just when he got there under the Cooper offense, he just took off and had,
Well, he broke onto the scene against his marquee game was Notre Dame.
right. Yeah, I remember that.
And he just torched Notre Dame, and okay. But and he never looked back from there. I mean, he was with the Patriots and the Cowboys.
First round draft pick.
Yeah, I mean, he had a nice career in the NFL, and
Sure.
Trouble did follow him around.
Yes.
But as a player, just one of the very best wide receivers that Ohio State's ever had.
And we are loaded at the receiver position. There's
Yeah.
no question
Yeah.
about it. Matter of fact, are there enough balls to go around, Bill?
Well, it's interesting. Both of the freshman quarterbacks lost, or they had their black stripes taken off the helmet. They're C.J. Stroud and Jack Miller.
They're going to play.
And one of them, at the end of this year, most likely won't be here, I would say.
I would agree.
Is going to say, okay, well, I can go play somewhere else.
Hey, I want to interrupt here just briefly.
Oh, go ahead.
If we've got any restaurants out there in our listenership land, I know we're on a lot of screens out there, but how about sending us some food up to the Wilmington press box? We're starting to get hungry here.
And
I
we'll
don't-
give you a lot of plugs.
That's right. We'll give you a lot of plugs. So, but
I hear ice cream's popular up here.
so if you want to send some food over, I don't care whether it's pizza or tacos or whatever.
Wings. I like wings. So if you got wings, send them over.
Text us. My number's 527-937-527-6674. Text us and let us know if you are going to send someone out before you do, so that we can make sure. And then you get them in here,
And we'll get them on the radio.
and we're going to get them on the air. We'll even put them on the televiation.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
right.
let 'em
That's
speak.
right.
Try to send someone that
You
looks
can
nice.
plug
so
your
that-
business.
There's Rick.
A big
But
big fat
we got about. I think we got about 12 people here.
big fat T-bone would be fine for me.
Tony,
medium
don't,
rare.
Tony, don't push your luck here.
20 ounces, marbled and juicy. You don't need to bring baked potato. But if you got cottage cheese, I eat cottage cheese with every meal, you guys.
I tell you, I used to
bring
like-
that.
when Damon's was here in town.
Oh, that was so good.
They had some good ribs.
I
here.
miss Damon's.
Yeah.
I miss Damon's.
I
Well,
do too.
we saw lightning.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Well, there's still some rumble of thunder and there's still some lightning that we're seeing, but
And
there's-
that's going to
there's-
fall all upon the officials.
But there's
in
not
that
been
case.
any rain. So once again, they obviously have to worry about someone getting struck by lightning.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, and I think most of the fans that were here in attendance weren't going to wait this long. So more than likely, they're out there somewhere at one of our restaurants watching. On the.
And they could bring us some wings if they like.
Could it be Sam's Meats?
Well, it could be anyone out, but not 5 pounds of uncooked bacon. That would not work, Tony.
Sam's Meats. Football fans, stop by Sam's Meats located in Wilmington at 1209 West Locust Street to support a locally owned and operated business. Sam's Meats has fresh chicken, pork, and beef, along with deli cheese and lunch meats. Their meat deals are a great way to buy meat in bulk, helping to save you both time and money. The dining room is open for you to enjoy homemade hot bar meals, and they're made to order grill items. Sam's Meats also offers catering, party trays, and a variety of homemade desserts. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. and 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturdays. Go check them out, Sam's Meats.
Okay, and Colette Farms Pioneer Seed, and a family-owned and operated seed dealership, offers Pioneer brand products and seed treatments and trusted ergonomic advice for over 45 years. With the use of local data, technology, and digital tools, we help farmers maximize every acre's potential. Count on us to be there throughout the season, working directly with you. Colette Farm Pioneer Seed, farmers just like you.
And John Roberts Excavating, located in Wilmington, is a family-owned business since 1998. They are specialized and experienced in general excavation, sewer storm, grading, field tile, drainage, land clearing, ponds demolition, and paving. Look us up on Facebook or call 937-382-1788 for a free estimate. What's funny about John Roberts Excavating is today, Bill and Rick, I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to clean out my fire pit that is near my pond. So I went outside with all kinds of enthusiasm and got a shovel and started to take care of the ashes. And I realized after a couple, three yanks into the, little dirt thing that I had and into a container, that job was not for attorney Anthony Mancuso.
Is this the koi pond?
That if anybody needs a lawyer, they could call me. But if anybody needs to clean up or excavating services, do not call me. So after about a 5-minute effort at cleaning out that area, I was thinking I need John Roberts Excavating because I'm done with this project. And inside I went, and I was covered from head to toe with soot, which tells you that there was more soot on me than there was pulled out of the fire pit and the pond.
He was basically the fiddler on the roof.
Yeah, that's right.
The pond remains dirty.
Hey, Tony, have you looked at the housing market lately?
No, not really. Why? Tell me.
It is incredible the amount of houses that are selling. They can't stay on the market. This is supposed to be such a bad market during the COVID virus outbreak, but yet houses are flying off the market.
Wow.
And Coldwell Banker shines like no other. Only one real estate company has guided people home to over 114 years. Call Shelley McCune and Coldwell Banker, West Shell, your neighborhood, your friend, your hometown realtor, bringing you exceptional service, honesty, integrity throughout the entire home buying and selling process. Yeah, it is incredible. We had bought a house up in Northeast Ohio, and I was talking to my realtor the other day, and she was telling me that, I said, what's it look like? She goes, we have 3 pieces of property in the county for sale right now. That's all that's for sale. She goes, realtors can't find property to sell because it's going so fast. So,
I wonder about Shelley McCune Realtor, and maybe she could text or call us or something. And that is, in 114 years, what would be like a certain property that you've turned over the most?
Yeah, that
is an interesting question.
Yeah, that is interesting.
If you've turned over like one piece of property, 7, 8, 9, 10 owners.
Yeah, there's a house that just
I'd be curious. I'd be curious to hear that bit of trivia.
Yeah.
We have someone who's written into the Campus Nation video YouTube page several times. Go Clinton Massey, like 3 or 4 times now.
Okay.
I would just like to clarify, this is the Batavia at Wilmington game. However, Campus Nation will be covering the Bethel Tate at Clinton Massey game tomorrow
That
night.
should be an interesting game.
Just want to throw that out
So
there.
it's Bethel Tate at Clinton Massey
Bethel
on the
Tate at Clinton Massey.
That'll be
playoff
interesting.
game
Yeah, it'll be
tomorrow night. This is not a Clinton
interesting.
Massey.
The other
game.
side of the
Wrong night.
This is not a Clinton Massey.
Wrong game, wrong night.
It says Wilmington on the field.
The other side of the McCune dynasty is McCune Painting and Renovation
Okay,
LLC.
guys, so go ahead, Tony.
Located in Wilmington, your trusted contractor with over 25 years of experience offering interior and exterior custom painting and home renovations. Call Nevin today at 937-728-5585 for a free quote. McCune Painting and Renovation LLC.
Okay, guys, I see some stuff going on the field that may indicate.
This is the Batavia side.
Right. They are taking their equipment off the sideline at this point.
What we've been told, Joe Holdren had talked with a police officer from the Wilmington Police Department that is here, and he was telling Joe that apparently there might be a second line of thunderstorms that are coming in behind this line.
Yeah.
We've had another 30 set on the clock. That doesn't really mean much. It is 8:15 Eastern Standard Time.
Well, this would be the last 30-minute one, though, I think.
You'd think.
Yeah, well, Batavia had said that they would stay till 9, but once again, if they've gotten from the National Weather Service radar that there's a batch of thunderstorms that are going to keep backing up as they do frequently at this time of the year.
Sure.
We always think of spring as being a lot of thunderstorms and that, but actually fall, we get a lot of rain. That's what knocks the leaves off the trees finally at the end of October. This is right in line with what we see.
Yep.
And I'm looking at weather radar right now, and stretching from Cincinnati, going right through this area or just north of this area and on through Columbus, which is what we're probably seeing, because we're not getting rain here, but we're seeing a lot of
lightning,
activity north of us in the distance. That stretches all the way up into Canada, for that matter. And then behind that, it doesn't appear, there isn't a lot of severe thunderstorm. There is some rain behind that, but all this is streaming from the Gulf of Mexico.
Sure.
And so it just sort of is one of those patterns where it feeds.
Just keeps on coming.
Yeah, and I'm not a meteorologist, but
No?
I would say that I would, and also what I'm seeing on this weather map is that they've got plenty of snow up in Ontario and up in St. Paul and the Twin Cities in Minnesota, and in Bismarck, the area of North Dakota. So I guess we could have worse weather, right?
Well, the Denver Kansas City game, they're calling for snow and 21 degrees this Sunday. So
yeah, that's pleasant.
In October?
yeah.
Oh.
Well, Denver gets those snowstorms any time of the year.
I lived in Denver for a while, and it's interesting though. But Denver actually is considered desert. People don't realize that. We don't get a lot of when I lived there, we didn't get a lot of precipitation. You'd have a light rain around 4 o'clock every evening. It wouldn't last long. But as far as in the wintertime, the weather pattern that usually dumped a lot of snow in Denver, you got from the Gulf of Mexico, weather coming up the edge of the Rocky Mountains, which is called the Front Range,
right.
And the weather would actually trap itself against the Rocky Mountains, trying to go
and
west,
dump everything,
and everything would get dumped. But in most cases, any bad weather coming from the West Coast would go up and over the Rocky Mountains, and if it was going to dump anywhere, it was dump in Kansas. Denver would normally not get hit,
right.
And Denver was so much better and well adapted to clearing snow when it being a mile high may have had something to do with that, but you'd get 2 feet of snow, and in the morning by noon it would melt all off.
Right.
It would get very warm. I preferred Denver's weather when I lived there to weather here in this area.
Yeah.
This is a lot gloomier during the wintertime.
I remember several years ago the Rockies were playing a baseball game in early June, and it got snowed out.
Ugh.
So I mean, they get those freak snowstorms out there, and so the activity I see, guys, I've seen several cars leave. I think.
What are we hearing?
Well, they're saying that we've got another bigger storm coming, 25 to 30 mile an hour winds, up to an inch of rain. Now here, this is coming, Bethel Tate, this is coming from Jeff. Bethel Tate versus Clinton Massey, not only a playoff game, but it's the de facto SBAAC championship game. Bethel Tate won the SBAAC National Division 5-0. Clinton Massey won the American Division 5-0. And so we had those in this league. You have the small division, the big school division, and normally they have a crossover game, and so they still have a champion of the whole league. Yeah.
We just heard the official announcement.
All right, so the latest that we've heard is that the game has been postponed till 3 o'clock tomorrow. And so what we'll have to do, we'll have to post on our website what we will do from here. Troy Deals has just sent the information to me. What we will have to do as far as in whether we can bring this tomorrow, what we would probably have to do is come out here if we were going to do this game tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and then have to go from here to Massey. So we'll have to see, first of all, whether our staff is available tomorrow. I know that Tony Mancuso's probably got 6 or 7 court cases that he's got to get done in the morning.
On a Saturday?
and of course,
that's news
Bill
to me.
Rayback is probably going to be on his computer teaching dozens of gym classes.
I bet you
actually, now a side note,
might get Merklin. You might get Merklin
the cross
back.
country meet tomorrow. My girls run at 10:30 in the morning in the Division III districts at VOA in Westchester. The boys, since we're Division II for the boys at East Clinton, They run at 1:30 in the afternoon tomorrow.
Where's that at?
West VOA.
Oh, so the VOA.
But
They're
you
both
would
at the same
you would
place.
have Merklin back in play, perhaps.
Well, that's true. Yeah, we can split the South and still staff and still do 2 games. It'll be, but we will let everyone know. Just keep an eye on the Campus Nation website. We thank everyone for tuning in and listening to the dribble that these guys have doled out.
That was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And it would have been a lot more fun if we would have gotten the game in tonight. But the good thing is that they are going to play, and there might be some showers early in the morning, but by 3 o'clock, everything is supposed to be clear. We will, no matter what, short of tornadoes, we will be doing the Clinton Massey Bethel Tate game. That'll get underway at 6:45 with our Clinton Massey crew. So once again, for all the crew here at Campus Nation, good night, everybody.
Good night.